MIKEKINGBIZ, the premier business media brand covering and connecting Central Virginia. It's home to MIKEKINGBIZ Radio, producer of On the Mic with Mike RVA, which airs on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM, The Choice 105.3 FM, and worldwide on IBGR.network. Follow MIKEKINGBIZ for the best business-ish content in RVA.
Welcome to our State of Community series. This one is on economic development, and we've done something a little different. We have partnered with the MIKEKINGBIZ show. Mike? So they tell you if you want to go quick, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. And so Mike and I are going far together. And we have a fantastic panel to talk about what is on everybody's tongue and conversations these days of how the Lego deal got done in Chesterfield County. But before that, we have to thank our sponsors. And so first, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor for the Chamber for our State of Community series. We do 4 of these a year on big bucket items in our community: economic development, workforce, education, and healthcare. And I want to thank David Dye and Tax Business Solutions team for sponsoring for the second year in the row. David, do you want to come? You're going to stand there. You're not going to come up, are you?
Well, thank all the dignitaries. I want to thank you all. Very important that the Chamber participate in the community and in the government. Thank you.
Thanks, David. And then our sponsor with, I feel like this is double hat, maybe even triple hat. So we're going to give you all the titles, Amy, here in a minute. So sponsor of the MIKEKINGBIZ Summit, Capital Ale House, Amy DeFore, who also serves as our chairwoman of the Chamber Board of Directors as well. And thank you. And I can't forget, Amy is also with Fest Beer Garden, so if you're over on Hull Street West, stop by Fest Beer Garden, or at one of 4 Cap Ale locations. How many? 4? At 4 Cap Ale locations in the area. I thought I got my numbers right. We're getting it together. Also, I want to thank all of our elected officials that are here today. So if all of our elected officials would just take a quick moment and stand and be recognized. So we are hosting our State Chamber Association of Professionals this week, tomorrow and Friday. And one of our topics tomorrow is going to be on business climate and working with economic development and working with chambers. And I will tell you, no community does it better working with economic development partnerships, working with localities than here in Chesterfield. Our relationships and friendships with our localities, officials, and government entities making Chesterfield the best place to live, work, and do business in is untouched here in Chesterfield County. So thank you guys for each of you making that happen. Next, I'd like to take an opportunity to bring up Mike. Mike King and I started working together. Are we on year 2? Yeah. I feel like we're on year 2. Yeah. And I was the person that sort of knew a guy. And then Mike became Mr. Chesterfield. I'm not sure how that happened. I feel like you need a tiara or something. Because all of a sudden his partners kind of looked very Chesterfield-like.
I live up here almost now. Don't tell me.
Look, our treasurer is here. She's going to have to find you a tax bill in a minute.
Don't tell Anthony Romanello and Henrico at EVA that I'm over here now.
That's right, that's right. And so do you want to bring up your esteemed panel?
No, you're doing a great job.
Okay, all right, I can keep going.
Yeah,
All right, so first I'd like to bring up Chris Winslow, who is chair of our Board of Supervisors. He represents the Clover Hill District. Thank you so much. Matt McLaren with Chesterfield County Economic Development. I think Mike will place you. Jennifer Wakefield with Greater Richmond Partnership. Matt, are you making a grand entrance?
Everyone else, you got to top that.
Yeah. You're among friends. We'll laugh at you.
Can we get this man some water?
That's right. And then Vince Barnett with Virginia Economic Development Partnership.
Easy.
Okay, did I miss anyone?
You're not sitting with us?
I'm not. I'm going to be in the audience judging.
Scoot over one.
Okay, the banquet staff will finish bringing out everybody's entrees. Please continue to eat as we take a snapshot view on how the Lego deal got done.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. To give you an idea of how this came, let me just back up and say, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. The panel here, they've really come together. It was an idea that I had. First of all, On the Mic with Mike is my radio show. It's a business radio show, but it's not typical business. It's about how business helps society be better. So you could see, well, 1 minute we're talking to Chris Winslow, we talked to Dr. Casey, we talked to the mayor of Richmond, but we also talked to kids at Chimborazo Elementary School to talk about, it's the things that hold life together. And so when this happens, I always say to people, changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. So money got to change hands somewhere, and but it's also about businesses helping to make society better. And so I'd like to thank our partners. One, I'd like to thank Amy Dufour from, Capital Ale House. This idea doesn't come together without me saying, hey, I got a crazy idea. Are you in? I didn't know, I knew people, but Danielle is the ultimate, I know a person. I do these all the time, but it's not at this level. People are not paying to come here to hear the story. So let's get to Lego. So a while back, Chris Winslow, he was going to come on the program. He's an esteemed gentleman. He was there to talk about, I'm not sure, but so On the Mic with Mike, we're on ESPN Richmond, so that's another story. ESPN Richmond, 5 to 7 a.m. is where you find us. And during this time, you're going to hear me shout out some of my partners. Like there's Beth Murphy right there from Bryant and Stratton. And what we do is that what we do, we connect people together who make a difference. So Chris Winslow is going to come on the program, and the day before, I see him on TV, standing with the governor talking about a deal that they had made for $1 billion. Now, I'm from Philadelphia, and that's a B with the capital B. I'm psyching, okay, this is great. So he shows up the next day, and we talked about all the things that he had to talk about for Chesterfield and all the things that makes it great. The one question I was like, hey, you got to tell us about this $1 billion deal with Lego. And that's what turned into this right here. So I connected with Dr. Casey. He thought it was a great idea, and it turned into this idea. So shout out to Garrett. We'd like to thank you for the input to help make this happen. Some of the people on the panel here have been on the programs with me before, so thank you, Jennifer. And we always talked about business connecting and making things great. So what we're doing here today is how Chesterfield became the place on the tongue of all business people. How does Chesterfield pull off this deal? And to go back a little bit to understand how this works, a while back, Danielle was talking to me about the Upper Magnolia Project. I think that's what it's called, correct? Yeah. All righty. And so I'm not from here, so I really didn't understand that the importance of having that, setting aside property for a deal like this to happen. But the leaders of the community have to have the foresight to see that years down the road. So somebody had to have that foresight. She says that to me a couple months ago, and all of a sudden it turns into the Lego deal. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris, and we're going to go down let's start with some introductions really quickly. Then we're going to start on the end. Matt?
Good afternoon. Matt McLaren. I work in Chesterfield County. I work for Garrett and the rest of the fine folks from Chesterfield County here. My role in this is that Garrett has me out on the road and answering people's questions when they are interested in locating their business to Chesterfield County. So I work with folks that from around the world and folks from around the state that say, I've outgrown my building, I'm selling too much product, I need to do something, and so their next question then goes to a map, and then they figure out, I've got 50 states in the United States, where the heck do I go? So people like us and Jennifer and Vince from the state level down there help those folks sort of winnow their search down to finally end up where they want to go. And for us in Chesterfield, I will tell you and look forward to the conversation, but the moment this group of people arrived at Meadowville Technology Park, which is a project 30 years in the making, their eyes lit up. We had no idea who they were or where they were from. They were very secretive. But there's that magic that you get in doing the things that all of us do that probably only happens once or twice in someone's career. And you could tell they loved what they saw. And the next 7 months were figuring out how to get it done. So that's a little bit about me.
One of the cool things is, and one of the great parts about having your own radio show is you can ask the experts. When you realized who they were and the light bulb came on, what was that feeling?
It was so far from what we thought it would be. So we were talking with them for 3 or 4 months before they let on who they were. We had to sign a very, very intensive NDA with them, and they had a little bit of a dog and pony show where they told us who they were on Zoom at this point. This was, a while ago. And they changed the background of their Zoom all at the same time. And I think it took all of us a while to figure out what are we looking at. One of them had a picture of a Statue of Liberty made out of Legos. Another one had like an animal behind them. And I was like, it took a long time. So when it finally sunk in, we were all very excited. Those of us that have worked in Virginia and around for a while, we've chased Legoland here in Virginia a few decades ago. And to have this be the thing that we get rather than Legoland, by the way, if anyone from Lego is listening, we'd still love a Legoland. But it was exciting to have full circle moment. So.
One of the great parts about what I do is, a while back talking to Jennifer, and a lot of times you think economic development is competitive, totally. Mm-hmm. And that's what I guess the lay people would think, and that's where you're talking to Jennifer, you kind of learn it's a collaborative effort. That Lego does not land here at Chesterfield. It's the infrastructure of the area as a whole. So with that, I bring you Jennifer Wakefield of the Greater Richmond Partnership.
Sure. Thank you, Mike. I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Richmond Partnership. We are the lead regional economic development organization. We work for the city of Richmond and the counties of Chesterfield, Hanover, and Henrico. We are a public-private partnership, so about half of our funding comes from the entities like Chesterfield County, and the balance comes from private sector companies. It was a lot of fun working on this project. I got a call from the consultant in late October, and I think Vince, he told me he was calling you at the same time. So it was a consultant that we've worked with for a long time, named Dennis Donovan from Wadley Donovan Gutshaw Consulting. He had done a study for us a few years ago, and we've worked with him on a number of projects over the years. And so Dennis called and left a very detailed message with information on the parameters for this project. And we immediately reached back out because first, when companies are trying to look to where they would want to locate their facilities, they either decide if they're doing it in-house, so someone on the company team is helping them with their search. It's typically not the CEO, but the CEO is involved, the CFO, the CTO, et cetera, but oftentimes they have a real estate person on their staff. Or they hire a site location consultant about half the time. And Dennis Donovan is a site location consultant. And so he was working with this company. Of course, as Matt mentioned, there are always code names, so we had no idea who it was. We knew that it was a global brand. We knew that it was a very large project with a potential very large capital investment project, and that they were going to have a solar facility as part of this. And so we had the parameters. They had already shortlisted Richmond as one of the locations. So as they're looking for, locations that they would want to locate in, typically it would come down to a list of some facilities, and then they would shorten it. What the pandemic has done is it's tightened up those timeframes because people are doing a lot more what's called desktop research on their computers. And so we were already shortlisted at the point that we heard from the site location consultant. And so he left me a voicemail and he said, I'm also calling Vince at VEDP today. And so we knew that he came in. And the reason for that is because when people begin to look at where they would want to locate, they look at typically the MSA level for all the data. They typically don't start with the county level. They typically are looking at the MSA and they're looking at the state, because oftentimes if it's going to be a large project, there will be incentives involved. And incentives typically come into play at the state level and at the local level.
Ma'am, there's two questions. What's an MSA?
Metropolitan Statistical Area, so
I
a
knew-
city.
It's slipping. I'm sorry. I'm slipping. The other one is when you said it was a big deal, there was a big dollar amount. Was it in the neighborhood where you ended up at, or that was just bigger than Christmas?
It was not terribly far off. I had 650. Yeah, it was a range, but it did not have a B. It had an M, but it was over the 500 million mark.
Okay, that's close. That's in the area code.
Yes, yes.
It's a very nice area code.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All righty, Chris Winslow. So as I said, I was at home, and I see you with that smile on your face, you and the governor, announcing the deal. And I want to know, so everybody who's somebody in business all of a sudden went to that Google machine and tried to figure out where Chesterfield was. Nothing personal, but where is Chesterfield, and how did they pull this off? There you go.
Thank you, Mike. And first, I will say to Jennifer's point, we in Chesterfield will accept millions or billions. So I just want to put that out there.
There's no discrimination there.
This afternoon, I want there to be anything missing on that. I don't think it's any secret that we are the fourth largest locality in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I don't know if too many people know that, but we've been, I guess, a little bit of a sleeping giant. But one of the big things that we have to do, and my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors are here, and I want to recognize them because each of them represents their districts with dignity and integrity and a lot of hard work, and I appreciate you all so much. But we work as a team to bring economic development and opportunity to each and every citizen, and that is a core function of government, and it's something that, as somebody who grew up in a single-wide trailer in Wycomico Village in Gloucester County, I can tell you is extremely important. We want to bring opportunity to every single household, and that, we do. We take that very seriously. With that said, my small piece in this is small, and that is to sit with Garrett Hart and the Secretary of Commerce and the COO of Lego and, of course, Governor Youngkin, and to hash out the incentive package that was going to be on the local level. It shouldn't surprise anyone in this room that every single Board of Supervisors in America wants to be Chesterfield for this deal.
Yes, sir.
And that should not be lost on anyone, certainly not lost on me. And so knowing that they were across the table a few months ago as we sat there to finalize that incentive package, there was no pressure at all to getting that right and to making sure that at the end of the day they were happy. This is Lego's first U.S. Factory, and so they have a factory in Mexico. And this is it. Chesterfield County will be their home. And when you think about the ripple effects of that on our local economy, in terms of other businesses wanting to come here, when you look at what that's going to have on the effect of household income, opportunities for our students at our elementary, middle, and high schools, I'm thinking of tech training, all of it. It is decades upon decades of opportunity that has landed here. And so you don't get stingy with incentive agreements with something like that on the other side of the table. Finally, I'll just say one thing, and I'll pass it on here, and that is that there's a man named Sonny Curran who was a supervisor in Chesterfield many moons ago on the Board of Supervisors. And he understood the value of Meadowville, where Lego is going. He understood what Meadowville could be and understood that he needed to get behind it because it meant vast amounts of land zoned industrial is an absolute critical component to why we got Lego. And that decision and his decision to go door to door and get behind that and lead from the front 30 some odd, you can correct me, Garrett, about the exact year, 30 some odd years ago, is why we're here, one of the reasons why we're here today. Some of these deals take a long time to to get going. But if you want to start and chart the start of this, that's where it all started. And so we do owe that Board of Supervisors some thanks for their vision. And just to connect that into your Upper Magnolia piece that was rezoned earlier this year.
Really quickly, when you look at something like that, you have to have the vision, and you have to have the person that they're selling the vision. What did it take to make that happen? Because you're selling to, I guess, the constituents something that's going to go possibly 30 years down the road. There's a long time before he was knocking on the door that you guys are standing there saying, this is the reason why we were knocking on the door 30 years ago.
That's a really good question, and I think it takes someone who understands business and understands that things. Well, the only constant we all have is change, but that boards of supervisors in our 4-year terms that we have, we can either take the ball and move it forward, or we can be parochial and look at our own areas and our own neighborhoods and not think about the county as a whole. And so I do think it takes that county-wide perspective, but then also our regional partners and working with GRP and our state partners at BEDB and others, where we have to say, okay, we're not just expanding the pie for citizens here. We're expanding the pie for everybody in the region, because there's not one kid in the region who's not going to be excited about Lego coming here. And that excitement will translate to their parents and their grandparents and all of those opportunities that come. So I do think it takes a grander vision.
Opening day for the Lego facility, what do you guys foresee that to be?
I believe we have a groundbreaking schedule for September.
Like you say, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back to you with that. We're working out those details. So really from the state level, Virginia is known as very friendly for business. You were known as very friendly for business prior to this Lego announcement. All right, the floor is yours. What happened after that was made?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's a pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. I'm Vince Barnett, the Senior Vice President of the Business Investment Division at BDP, and we are kind of where the rubber hits the road in terms of exactly what this panel is up here talking about. We have a team dedicated to finding new opportunities, lead generation is how we refer to it. You have offices in Europe, Seoul, in Tokyo, and we're constantly out trying to find new opportunities to be able to partner with folks on the panel here. And economic development is truly, truly a team sport. It sounds like a cliche, but ultimately deals get closed at the local level. So many times leads start at the top of the funnel with us, but ultimately these companies, particularly in the international space, they're finding new places to live, move some of their families, people to locate, raise children, and ultimately that all gets solved at the local level. So yes, our perception, Virginia's perception as a business-friendly state, we've been ranked in most of the national business rankings right at the top of the list for many years. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that process. We have, Jen mentioned the consultants, they play a key role. We have an initiative where we target roughly about 200 of the top consultants, where we're out attending events, we're calling on their offices, we're doing all these various things so that we can get those phone calls. And in this particular case, when the calls came into both the state and to the region, they had down selected, but they had not only down selected to Richmond. So there are other regions in the state that are under consideration, and it all circles back to what Chair Winslow was saying, the foresight, and what Matt was saying around Upper Magnolia. 30 years ago when Meadowville Park was starting its vision, these projects are coming to us with very defined needs, and those communities who have those that can meet the timeline, and that's the key here. From the pandemic, these timelines have been condensed drastically. So those communities that have prepared and had the foresight to invest long-term, and although it was 30 years for this project, Meadowville's done really well prior to this particular project, so give a shout out to that as well. It didn't sit empty for 30 years. So when the consultants come to us, we present opportunities that match their parameters, and that really starts for us. And we do it directly with our regional partners, such as Jen, and ultimately the local. So the state kind of sits there as a quarterback shepherding at a high level, but really the engineering, water capacities, energy capacities, and all the stuff that really makes a project successful is really being worked through the communities that they're evaluating. So it was a pleasure. I would like to add on that Zoom call when we did find out who it was, you could see the reaction. So yes, they changed the backgrounds, and I can't remember how many of us were on the call, but I sat there and watched the faces and the smiles that started to happen. You realize, okay, they got it. They understand. And it was a feeling unlike any other project that we worked. And to just put an exclamation point on the type of project that it is, economic development is a competitive field. Within Virginia, we play nice together, but we're competing against North Carolina and South Carolina and Singapore, and you name it, on a regular basis. And over the years, I've been with the state for coming up on 21 years now. We've gotten to know a lot of our colleagues and such in some of our competitor states. When they're calling you to congratulate you on a project, you know you've landed something really well. And I probably have had more people reach out to me on this one project than I have in any other project. So that says a lot.
Okay, Vince, that's... So you're looking at the Zoom and the faces are lighting up. And when the Zoom is over, how long did it take for you guys to get on a call to say, do you realize what just happened?
Not long. Not long at all. And we were preparing almost immediately after that. The team was going to visit for a pitch. So all of us got together and strategized because they shared a lot more information as well. And what was really important to the company, a wide variety of things, but right at the top of the list, they were really looking for synergies between the company and its philosophy and the home that they choose. So they rattled off a bunch of their philosophies and their values, which aligned really well with Chesterfield and Virginia. So we strategized immediately on how we're going to take the next step to pitch, and off we were running. So not long at all.
I'm sure. So this is the Anatomy of a $1 Billion Deal. It's MIKEKINGBIZ Radio. That's where we are every morning from 5 to 7 a.m. on ESPN Richmond, as well as The Choice 105.3. I'd also like to say we'd like to thank our sponsors and advertisers, because I say the microphone ain't free, and plus my grandkids need stuff. So make sure. I got to give a couple shout-outs really quickly. Shout-out to Rob White right there. If you ever need signage, he's the guy. He is the guy, and he's a great supporter and sponsor of the program. Alfredo Reynolds from our Brunswick Economic Development. See, we do road shows, and we're connecting Richmond and our RVA area to Brunswick. A lot of great economic development going on down there as well. So, Jennifer, when Matt had talked about getting ready and making a short list, we've had that conversation before, and he said what the pandemic did, it cut out a lot of the pre-work when people would visit and all those things. Talk to the folks about what that means and how that impacted so that Chesterfield ends up on that short list, but all of a sudden we have a shot at the prize.
So they came to us when they first mentioned it, the consultant, that they were coming with a solar component. And that was because they had been watching legislation very closely at the state level related to sustainability, right? And if you look at who the company is, sustainability is a core part of who they are and what they plan to do here in Chesterfield. And Chesterfield was extremely responsive to that. It was a very detailed, what we call RFI, request for information. And Matt and Garrett put together a fantastic response that almost immediately had narrowed it down from our 4 partners to Chesterfield. We got the call, it was the very end of October. By December, it was definitely Chesterfield was in for at least us. And Vince, we may have still been competing against somewhere else in Virginia. What I will tell you is that competition is strong, and that once I found out, I wasn't on that Zoom call when the unveiling happened. I found out afterward. Pandy was trying to drop me hints without telling me anything before she sent me the NDA.
It's bigger than a bread basket.
And so I had worked in Orlando prior to this, so I was familiar with the company. But also my nephew is one of these adult fans of Lego. They're called AFOL. There's a whole group. Only he calls himself, he's not an AFOL because he actually works for the company, because he has a bachelor's degree in theater, which means that he doesn't actually work in theater. He works for the Lego company because he loves the company so much. He does work for the counterpart to King's Dominion called Carowinds down there and producing shows on the side. So not true, he also works in theater as well. Sorry, Christian. But he loves the company. Now, of course, I'd signed the NDA, so I couldn't tell him who the heck I was working with, but I did pick his brain a whole lot because he knows everything about the company. And what I did at that point, once we realized who it was, and I don't know if Audrey had told you this, but I completely tore up our presentation and we completely redid the presentation, targeting to the company. When we sat in VEDP's conference room with the large group that was here in the March timeframe and we took them on a tour of the region, one of the first things that we did, of course, knowing their values and knowing that ESG, environmental, social, and governance issues, which include diversity, equity, and inclusion, and sustainability, are increasingly important to companies as they're selecting their decision, is I told them to look over their shoulder and they would see a building and a company called CoStar. And the entire reason that they were here is because North Carolina had an anti-LGBTQ bill in 2016, and Virginia did not discriminate. And so we wanted to welcome everyone with open arms. And so I knew that that would play into that. But I mean, that is a core part of what LEGO values.
They all raised their eyebrows at that point, and we knew we were likely competing with North Carolina. But North Carolina has subsequently changed their laws, but they did not know about that. And I think a few of them Googled it furiously. So we got some good statewide points there.
I like to always throw North Carolina under the bus on that.
And we've had that conversation before about, the whole diversity and equity, what it means to the bottom line. Danielle's always talking about. Dr. Danny from the Women's Business Resource Center, we talk about what the economic impact is. And you were on my show saying people wanted to know, was it a friendly environment?
Correct.
Clearly, it showed up a year and a half later.
Yes, absolutely. So friendly environment for all purposes that you can think. So, no matter what race or religion or creed or orientation.
It's business.
Jennifer, if I may, just I believe their tagline, so each one of their values is everyone is awesome.
Yes, and I have the everyone is awesome set.
Everyone is awesome. That's good. And what it comes down to, it's about treating people, and that's, I guess, one of the chamber ethos, as well as shout out to my man Barry Moore right there with it's trust in environments. Ultimately, that's what brought them here, and a good environment that was set up years ago. Really quickly on the panel here, let's talk about the culture of the area that really is enticing to bring $1 billion deal, because they had the run of the country. And when you think of it that way, there's a whole bunch of places that they could have taken it, and Chesterfield ends up as the winner. Let's talk about the culture. And give a shout out to Dr. Casey. He's always really supportive of my program and really helpful. So let's talk about the culture here and what it means. Matt, we'll start with you.
Sure. So, we give we all have great elevator speeches, no matter what your business is or your community that you're representing. Hopefully you've got a good elevator pitch. Ours has changed over the years. And one of the things we really talk about when we have very short periods of time with folks that are coming to Richmond or coming to Chesterfield for the first time is, what are we proud of? What do we make here? And one of the things Garrett, our director, always leads with is we still make things. And so for a company like LEGO, that technology is a big part of what they do. Like, they have a whole sort of film studio. They have a group of people that just figure out how do kids play digitally online with Legos, but at the end of the day, they still make these amazing precision manufactured parts that still fit together. One of the things we learned is if you have a set from the 1970s, it will still fit today perfectly within a hair, like a piece of a hair, not even a full hair, within what was made in the 1970s. So what they're making, it takes a lot of technology, but at the end of the day, it's advanced manufacturing at the highest level. And so for us, we talk a lot about, we have a really cool company called Sabra in Chesterfield. So I think many of you know that story. All the hummus that you get from the grocery store likely is made in Chesterfield County. If you buy a pack of noodles at the bottom of the shelf, if you're trying to get a cheap lunch, or you're in college, or you just really like a salty treat at Marichon, that's made in Chesterfield County. We can just go down the list of things that are made in Chesterfield County, and we're really proud of that, and that's a story we tell. Nowadays, we also add in, if you're checking your balance on your phone and you're paying for something, we've got a company that does that. So we're broadening that story all the time and getting to add LEGO to that like Vince said, where everyone's face lights up. You whether you're a parent, whether you're a kid, whether you're a grandparent, if you don't have kids and you're still playing with the stuff, you still have a relationship with this company, and to have them here in the community is a regional win. And in Chesterfield, we are super excited about it, but every one of us, when we compete for business, we're going to start our new elevator pitch with saying, we're home to Lego. And so the culture behind that is we still make things, we're welcome to all, we have a great local school system for our kids, and all of the people that you move here when your company relocates different people, because there will be people from all over the world that have opened up plants in different places, they will move here.
Alrighty, Danielle has taken the microphone because we would want to open. I'm just messing around. That's what happens when you give me the mic. What we're going to do is you've heard from folks out here who were at the table. A lot of people have questions. We also want to give the county's perspective. So Jesse, can we have a couple minutes and talk a little bit about Danielle?
Yeah. Jesse speaks all the time. He might not need a mic.
Alrighty. Okay. So there we go. See we?
I think I've got the nice green microphone. So I'm Jesse Smith. I'm Deputy County Administrator for Community Development for Chesterfield County. Dr. Casey sends his regrets. He's on vacation this week, but I gleefully offered to stand in his stead and do my best impersonation of him I could. From a community development standpoint, I think Matt's points are very salient. This project was not 6 months in the making. It was not 12 months in the making. It was really 30 years in the making. I come from an infrastructure background. I think that's one of the things that goes unrecognized, as to how this happened. We have roads, we have water, we have sewer, we have all of the things that you could ever want there, in addition to the quality of life things like, good schools and other businesses and just being a great place to live. So I grew up here. This project really does mean a lot to me personally, and I think that's really the elevator story. From my perspective, is that this is something that we've wanted for a long time, and it's the culmination of a lot of work going back years, the bravery of a board back in the 90s, of folks like Mr. Kern. It doesn't happen by chance. So, we appreciate everybody that participated over the decades to do that.
Well, thank you for that. And again, send my regards to Dr. Casey for helping making this happen. When you think of something like this is really big. You have to have leaders who will buy into the program. As I said, I don't work for ESPN. I don't work for the radio stations that I'm on. I buy airtime. And what I do is I go to partners and say, I got this idea. I go to Barry Moore. I go to Danielle. Anna Solden right there. It's a new partner of ours down in Swift Creek Living. This is an elevator pitch. I'm sorry, folks, but we have to get that in because it's a part of doing business. And Chesterfield had to be good for business to land a $1 billion deal. So we're going to open up to Mark Bowen has a question.
Well, Mike, I am the 50-plus-year-old fan of Lego. And when the governor made the comment of a 55-year-old man that got the Millennium Falcon for his birthday, that was all me. God's honest truth. My question is, do we know who else was on the short list? And if so, are you at liberty to say?
No, no, and no. We have an idea, and no.
Wow, that's so interesting.
I mean, I could say that. I mean, we do know. We don't know from Lego, I will say. But, I mean, we have an idea of the kinds of communities that we were under and the people that we've heard from. They're communities our size and bigger that have 340-odd acres out there. So you can start doing a little bit of so Jen knows who, and I won't say who they are, but they're neighboring states. They're places that embody what Virginia has in terms of, maybe neighboring south, maybe neighboring
immediately south.
For you, Rick. That was for you, Rick.
We're happy we won.
I was privileged to sit in on a meeting a few weeks ago about Lego, and one of the things I was really struck by is the corporate culture that they have, and the fact that just getting the factory up and running and getting going is a small part of it. One of the great benefits of this is they're going to be heavily involved in our community. They're going to do a tremendous amount of community outreach. Elementary schools, middle schools, I mean, they're incentivized their employees to really participate in the community. And that's one of the things, if y'all could elaborate on that a little bit, one of the things I think they're going to be a great corporate citizen.
So yeah, I'll share that they had asked us for a listing of nonprofits in the region that they could potentially collaborate with, and so that was something that we had provided to them. And that
Hopefully the
was why-
Chesterfield Chamber was on that list.
At the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think their goal is to work with children and with underprivileged children in particular. So those are the kinds of opportunities I think you're going to see. I think the fact that all of our school systems have robotics divisions that do great work, I think there's going to be some really cool opportunities once they're up here and running. There's going to be 1,761 people at this facility. They are going to be doing all sorts of different things, and the company is going to have their eyes on our community and our region, I think, and look for opportunities. So it's going to be really cool. Thanks for bringing that up.
One of the things when Chris Winslow was there, he had said it was 1,761, not 1,760. They wanted to make sure that we knew about the about the
My
impact.
nephew wants to be that one.
Somebody wants to be that one. Somebody's going to be that one.
All right, I know we're running close on time,
Yes.
so I'm going to let Shara have the last question.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Shara Gibson. I'm with the Women's Business Center of Richmond. And congratulations on securing such a huge opportunity for Chesterfield. With us being a technical assistance provider, we have a lot of businesses. Once these headlines come out, they're like, how do I participate? How do I get at the table? So I would love to know, what's the approach to engage local and small businesses as Lego moves into the area?
Yeah, so I will tell you they are designing their facility right now. So one of the most immediate benefits that the community will see and the jobs that are open is they are opening a temporary, they're not calling it a temporary facility, they're calling it a training and packing facility. It is also located in Chesterfield County. The state has a great website called, Vince, is it Lego Careers in Virginia, I believe?
Yes.
You can go to that website and register your interest in being a employee of Lego. We are getting ready to, at the economic development level, start clearing the site for them. So there will be construction jobs that are open. All the folks that have contracts will have signs out there. You'll be able to call and things like that. So those are two different things that I know don't get exactly to your point. I will say once they have the facility designed and they have their general contractor on board and they start having a team here, I believe there will be a website, there will be all sorts of things. But as many of these things happen, the announcement is made and then it's like, oh wow, okay, this is the timeline that we have, and they want to get up and running at the end of 25 and early 26 to actually be producing Lego bricks at this facility. So there's a little bit of ramp up time, and I think you'll start seeing more. I would head to our website at Chesterfield Economic Development Office. I'm sure the county will have something, and the state as well. As soon as we get sort of an input for people to register their interest, we will have that published. So thank you for the question.
Mike, I'm turning back to you.
Alrighty, we'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and as I said, from a personal standpoint, I'd like to thank Danielle and the Chesterfield Chamber. As I said, I do this a number of times. It's not at this level. I'm not sitting here with the panel at the DoubleTree doing this. So I always say that she said, you know, you can go a certain distance and you can go faster. Either you could take people with you. At our brand, what we do is we help people get to where they're trying to go and connecting the dots. It's all about partnerships, and I have some of the coolest and greatest partners who are out there. So I'd like to say thank you guys for coming. How about, I guess, your contact info for people to get more information, Matt?
Sure. My email is McLaren, like the fast car, McLaren. I don't have one. My first.
You know, I thought of Tracy Spencer. You know, Tracy. Never mind. You're not old enough.
McLaren M at chesterfield.gov.
There you go. Jennifer?
J Wakefield, JWAKEFIELD at grpva.com.
Winslow C, that's Winslow, like Family Matters, the old show. Winslow C at chesterfield.gov.
And
And last, it's V for Vince Barnett, BARNETT at VEDP.org.
Are we really doing this?
It's your call.
Call Federal Credit Union, your best call for mortgages.
What would you tell an international company who's considering expanding about choosing Greater Richmond?
It's a lot about the quality of life, the connection with the community, the stable workforce, the productive workforce, cost of living.
Quality of life for sure. That's very big for us. In addition to that, I would also maybe add on to the universities and community colleges. We have worked with several of them to tailor an apprenticeship program and an internship program, and they have tailored their curriculum to our needs, and that is very helpful to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike King here, coming to you from high above Henrico. Yes, we are. You can follow us on the social platforms, MIKEKINGBIZ, as well as On the Mic with Mike RVA. We're the premier business radio program around. What we do is we talk to the best and brightest. There are times that we deviate from business and we start talking sports. There's a big thing that's happening right now. Women's sports, girls' sports, youth sports are on the rise. They are on fire, and what we do is we talk to folks who are out there doing big things. Everybody knows I am a Philadelphia sports fan, but really I'm a LeBron guy. And the young lady next to me is a phenomenal player. She's a point guard. I asked Team LeBron, Team Jordan. Initially she said Team Jordan, but they're kind of like, they're both great. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, so tell us your name.
Kaelyn Taylor.
Okay, and what school do you go to?
Highland Springs High School.
And you are a basketball player?
Yes.
When, and the position you play is?
Point guard and shooting guard.
And I asked you, which one do you prefer? And you, hold on 1 second, okay. I asked you, which position do you prefer? Wait 1 second.
Shooting guard.
So shooting guard.
Yeah.
So when you're shooting and you're shooting well.
Right, shooting guard.
Okay. But your natural instinct, is it to be the shooter or the person directing traffic?
Directing traffic.
So that person. You're a point who can shoot.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And I asked you, could you fill it up?
I can.
Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to put my glasses on for this one. So, when I asked you, could you fill it, you said yes.
Yeah.
All right. When did you know you were nice in basketball?
Elementary school. They just weren't on the left with me, I guess.
And okay, I hear you. You know, you can't be like I'm him because you're not him.
Right.
But you're him.
Right.
Okay, you're her.
Yeah.
I also asked you about what subject was your favorite in school.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you tell me, ma'am?
Math.
When did you know you was nice in math class?
Elementary school.
So a lot went on in elementary school.
Yeah.
So which one did people stare at you harder when they realized you was her in math class or on the basketball court?
On the basketball court.
Because you could shine on the basketball court.
Right. Normally there's like lots of boys playing, so that when they see me playing, I can shoot very, very well.
So you could get your shot off.
Yeah.
And they would block it and send it into the...
Nah.
She's like, no, we ain't playing that. Nah. We not playing that.
No.
We not rejecting, no. Okay. What is the best part about playing team sport, a team sport?
You meet a lot of new people. I made like a lot of friends ever since elementary school and going through high school.
You just meet a lot of... Alrighty, is there, and you don't have to name the coach, is there, what kind would, like for you, what's the best, we already talked about the player, the coach in the player's face. What's the best kind of coach for you?
Growing up, well, playing basketball growing up, I had like different type of coaches. So I had coaches that would yell at me and then, just pull me off to the side. So I think it just depends on like who it is and how you started. So if you start by, if that's just how you coach, then I just have to take that.
You got to take it.
Yeah.
So there's coaches around who I asked them, what's the difference between coaching guys and girls? And like, you can do the yelling and screaming with guys.
Right.
That don't work with the.
Not all the time.
Because it's more of a mental aspect that you got to get to and coach the women different than you do with the guys. All right. Favorite moment playing basketball?
Probably. I think it was like nationals.
Oh, excuse me. Hold on a second. Like nationals.
Yeah.
You mean like nationals, like, you know, from around the country?
Nah, like, actually we had that too, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's just like a, you know how they had like EYBL and the different types of stuff like that? Yeah, when I was younger. I don't remember what it was called, but we had one like that. And we was just, us and the team, we was going back and forth. You know, the parents, they didn't get loud.
Yes,
so it's just that type of stuff.
I've learned that about this Richmond Henrico sports atmosphere. So let me ask you. So now I know you're rather old, and so is that going to be a 12th grader? What's it like? So now you get the games and people coming out to Highland Springs, and it's a big deal. What's it like when the little kids see you and they're like, yo, and they're they're looking at you like,
right.
Whoa, what's that feel like?
I mean, it feels good. They look up to me.
They are.
Yeah.
And it's not just the girls. You see, like the boys, they're looking at you. She got game. So when I asked you about playing the guys, you're like, no, we ain't doing that, rejected.
Right.
What's it like when you get the respect of the dudes out there that, no, you just stop being a girl hooper too.
Right.
We just ballers out here.
So then they're all going to be on their team and pick me first and stuff like that. Because they know we're going to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, that says something right there. It's picking winners. So it's picking winners as your friends. So you do the same thing. So there's people out there now, there's a lot of pressure on teenagers with social media, mental strain, all of those things. How do you do all of that? The sports thing, you got the home thing, you got the friends, you got all of that. How do you keep all that together these days now? Because back in the day, when school ended, sometimes you didn't see those people till the next day. They would talk on the phone, but somebody's like, hey, get off the phone, I got, all those things. Now you get your phone in your pocket and all this. The same way you get accolades because you hit the shot. Now people are telling players they suck because you missed the shot. How do you put all that and keep sanity in place?
I guess manage your time. You know, from this time you go to school, you work on your education there, then you got practice, then, home, family, and friends time.
Okay. You hate the thing, say, where do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Successful, I guess.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So there's a lady over at a friend of mine, Shamika Bowen. She does politics. She runs a Richmond Black Restaurant Experience. She went to Virginia State, and it's hell. All that talking about Virginia State. I love going to the campus, even though I went to Lincoln. So and they took our colors, but we're not holding that against my good friends down at Virginia State. I asked her, when you went to state, what did you want to be? And she told me, I went to Virginia State to be better. I knew that if I got better, my whole family would do better. So successful. Outside of basketball, what things are you good at?
Math. Teamwork and stuff like that.
You like those things?
Yeah.
So when you see the people, what is it about math that you think gets people thrown off?
Well, in school, I feel like it's just the teacher. People are taught differently.
So sometimes, do you think people work through that? So now work through the problems, and that's what happens. So that's why when they're playing or doing math, they're like, show me your work. Don't just.
Right.
And I can see where you
Make a mistake.
We made a mistake. All right, so let's go back to Knicks and Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the Knicks parade on TV?
No, I seen it on TikTok. It was
Oh, of course you see it on TikTok.
Yeah.
My grandsons think that if it ain't on TikTok, it ain't real and it didn't happen. So I'm just saying. So the mayor of New York says that at the start of the quarter, where about 9 minutes left, there was a 0.4 chance that you saw that part.
Yeah.
When you're looking at that, did you see it in real time? Were you watching the game? I mean, a lot of people weren't because some people were asleep.
Yeah.
What's the chance if we're down by 30 at the start of the quarter that we gonna win?
Real low.
Anything is real low. I'm surprised everybody wasn't walking out
Yeah.
because it's over. But you're the point guard, and we're down by 30, and we're on timeout. What are you telling us?
Give it your all.
Okay.
Try and come back.
Okay. Are there any 10-point baskets? No, we ain't got no 10. They don't have those. So we just got to do a little bit at a time. So the point guard, you're running the show. What are you telling people on the court?
Get a stop. Play good defense.
Get a stop. Because we can score. We don't even need to score as long as we get the stop. So now we get it to about 20. What are you saying to the people, to your team?
Keep doing what you do.
We was down by 30.
Right, now we're down by 20.
Does it change any? Are you gathering people up and all those things out on the court?
Yeah.
Are you one of them hyperactive players, or are you kind of like hold on, I don't even need to see you play. For the most part, point guards are not the hyper person. They're the one out there telling people, pump the brakes.
Right.
Or step on the gas. So now we're down by 20. What are you telling the team?
How much time left?
We got 8 minutes.
8 minutes. The fourth quarter. Step on the brakes.
Okay, we got to get stops.
Yeah.
Now we look up, we're down 15, 6 minutes to go. Any other time, now we didn't came from 30,
right,
and the game is over. Now we're down by 15, and it's 6 minutes to go. If there was only all the other times that we're down by 15 and it's 6 minutes, you know what we're saying? Yeah, we might be in trouble.
Right.
But we're not in trouble because we didn't came back from no man's land. So all of a sudden, when you looked up and you thought, when would you have thought that Spurs might be in trouble?
Probably when you get to like 10.
Because what do coaches always say?
What do they say?
Get it below 10.
Oh, yeah.
We get it below 10, anything could happen. When your coach is ready to say, you didn't know this was, am I interviewing you or are you interviewing me? So when, does the coach say something and you know what the coach is going to say? You do.
Yeah, sometimes.
And so all of a sudden they're like, the coach says it. What goes on in your mind?
I don't know. What you read?
You know what go on. You're like, yeah, I know coach was going to say that.
Oh yeah, like if I do a bad play or something, then it's like, okay, I know I got to get it back on defense.
You got to
like
get
that.
so you can't let what happened on offense.
Nah, you just got to let it go.
So there's a saying what they say about shooters. What do they say?
Shoot.
So when do you know it's your night when you start off? How many baskets does it take before you're like, oh, I'm on a roll tonight, I'm cooking?
Like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 shots.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
I just keep shooting.
Do you see the look on people's face, the other team? Like, yeah, we don't care if we gonna have to go to a mugging. We're not letting her because tonight's her night.
Right. They be like, that's the shooter right there. Don't let her shoot them.
Don't let her shoot them.
Yeah.
How's that feel? You walking like real tall now, ain't you? Yes. All right, so there's a 7th grader out there right now looking. And what would you tell them how to go about making their team or to get better? Like, what do they need to do?
put in the work outside of like practices and stuff.
Do you think sometimes people think that all practice is enough?
I think, yeah.
You think a lot of people do?
Yeah.
And then when they walk away, they go to TikTok dances and all them other things that capture people.
Right.
Okay, how about the part of not listening to the naysayers and the foolishness and all the things that go on social media and in life?
Don't let it get to you. You know what's going on. You just can't worry about that.
Okay. So we talked about your favorite W team, and it is?
The Storm.
That's the Connecticut Storm, right? Is that where they're from? Your favorite college team? I mean, come on. Now,
I wasn't say South Carolina, but like.
That's the go-to.
Right.
LSU?
Yeah, I was thinking about that stuff.
How you like LSU's coach's wardrobe?
Oh, she's real flashy.
She is real flashy.
That's just her style.
Yeah. All right. Favorite men's team? You told me was?
The Spurs and OKC.
Okay, Spurs and OKC. Alrighty, it has been a pleasure. And that's right, yeah. So you're in the college process now, looking at schools and doing all those things. What do you think is going to be the thing that's going to be like that when you knew I found home?
I mean, whatever's the best fit for me. If it feels like home, then that's what I should be.
When you, as a player, and do you have to go in starting right away? Or you just want the opportunity to compete?
For me, I would want to start right away, so.
And you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you're ready. So I talked to a coach, and he said every household, for the most part, that he goes in recruiting guys, they want to know what's the chance of me getting to the league. And he says that hardly ever comes up when you go recruit women. He said the number one thing is I want her to be taken care of. I want her to be taken care of. So that is it. It has been an honor to talk to you. You're good with this media thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. So, but you got to do the basketball thing first. So you're not going to hang up the sneakers
Nah, not yet.
for the mic. Nah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am safe for a while because, before too long, you will be seeing her on TV screens for basketball, and then after that for the media side of it. So on the mic with Mike, we talk to the best and the brightest. We'll talk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Mike King here. Got my good friend Beth Murphy of Bryant and Stratton. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
All righty, tell us who you are, what you do.
So I'm Beth Murphy. I'm the market director for Bryant and Stratton College. We're a career college that has been around for over 170 years. We have 16 locations as well as an online division, but of course Richmond Chesterfield location is the biggest.
It is the biggest, and I don't want to say the best. We don't want to
shortchange
it. It is what it is. So we just had graduation a couple weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being there. Was that not phenomenal?
Yes.
We celebrated about 300 graduates. And what's special, as you know, we do graduation 3 times a year. You're always there. But our spring graduation always honors our online graduates from the area too. So we invite them in, and man, that place was just happened.
So what I did was, I record, and I do let it speed up as the graduates are coming in. That took a long time.
Oh, good.
Because I'm used to the regular number.
Yeah.
But that graduation in the spring, and it's a big day. The energy in the room was amazing. It is the culmination of the work that they had done.
It's such an exciting time, and you're right. As I was standing there on the stage in my heels, waiting for everybody to come in.
I'm like, yes.
It's like, oh, they're coming, and they're coming.
And they kept coming.
And they kept coming. But you know what? In all seriousness, what a positive room to be in. And I happen to be looking at two graduates in the front row who were so emotional. You could just tell, like, the reality of, wow, look what we did was really hitting them. That was incredible. I also, I'm looking to as I'm standing on stage, I'm looking to the right at our incredible faculty who are so committed, who have poured themselves into these students. Then I look to the left. I look at our community leaders who are there supporting us. I look at, we had 2 deans from our online division who came to just want to celebrate the students. It was just such a phenomenal morning.
And you guys do it 3 times a year, can come quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys do it a lot. And but the newness of it, the freshness of it, the energy of capturing that day. It is a big day. Those folks didn't graduate 3 or 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to graduate. Today is their day. And your team makes it feel like today is that day. It is all about them.
This is something I feel really passionate about. I actually led this movement as far as graduation 3 times a year, because the reality that a lot of our graduates were choosing not to walk because graduation got too far away from when they completed. And you think about it, so many of our graduates are nurses, and so once they start working, they can't take a day to celebrate graduation. And our students deserve to celebrate what they have accomplished. It is a big deal. And so it is easy for the event to stay fresh for us because all you have to do is look at our graduates and be like, you know what, wow, this is why we're doing this.
So a while back, I had met a man who he started at McDonald's when he was 17 years old, and he said, I never left, 60 years old. And I'm like, okay, when you're 17 working at McDonald's, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But when you're 22 or 23, people are going to start making fun of you. I said, what was it like when people were like, you work at a fast food place? He said, I knew one day that I would own one. Mm-hmm. Or he owned 25 McDonald's. Wow. It's the same thing with your keynote speaker.
Oh, yeah.
Went to the Y, kind of like never left. It tells you something about the talent that you guys bring in as a speaker and the stories that they're imparting on the graduates.
Jody Alexander from the Richmond YMCA, President and CEO, was gracious enough to agree to speak. And I love Jody. I had the honor of serving on one of her boards. And what the YMCA is doing really aligns with Bryant Stratton College. And a lot of our students actually utilize the YMCA for childcare. We send our nursing students to do community clinical hours at the YMCA. So it's been a great partnership. And I think both institutions believe in supporting its members, looking at how we impact our community positively. How do we have resources available? And how do we connect people to resources? And I loved Jody's story about how she started out as a swim coach and she found her purpose. And that's what this is all about. We're not saying that you need to go and get a 4-year degree. It's more about finding your purpose so that you can get on the pathway so that you can have, because fundamentally at Bryant Stratton College, we believe a happy career means a happy life. And so that's what we're trying to help people do. And
so graduation is the culmination. But then we run it back a little bit and we have new student orientation. And when when I look at that, we have film and video from, new student orientation, and that's the journey. Mm-hmm. And so when you look around the room, 300 people graduate, there's 300 stories. And everybody feels like they're the only one until you come to new student orientation. There is somebody who has a story similar or a situation similar to yours. Mm-hmm. Touch on that, because Bryant and Stratton is built differently for you, mm-hmm. but it encompasses making each person feel like part of the family.
I believe, regardless of how focused you are, and like your story about the gentleman working at McDonald's, like you have that vision. But even with that vision, it can feel very lonely. And you can have that vision, but between where you are to that vision can feel like, wow, I'm gonna have to walk this alone. How am I gonna do this? What I hope is that Bryant and Stratton College helps students see they're not alone, that we are champions of students. And so when you come and you're not quite sure how you're gonna do it, you just know you want to do this, that we're gonna help fill in those gaps. We're gonna advocate for you. And we are built different for you so that we can help you get to that final destination. And I think new student orientation, when you're meeting another single mom, or you're meeting the dad who's working and also has the kids, you start talking to people and you're like, okay, I'm not alone. And then you're listening to the faculty and staff. I mean, personally, I went back and earned a degree after I had my son, and I was working a full-time job. There are so many people at Bryant and Stratton College who can empathize because we have walked that path. So I hope at new student orientation, students begin to feel that.
So, I'm getting tired of Bryant and Stratton. People see.
Thank goodness. I know.
So, people stop me now. They're like, hey, I went to Bryant and Stratton. The last one was a woman who owns a child care facility.
Love that.
Because a lot of times we see nursing coming through, and these are all Dean Cohen's people, and they got all regalia and all those things. But there's a lot of other things that Bryant and Stratton doesn't get to. We know hospitality because tourism is there with you guys on a regular basis.
Yes.
So I can real quick run through some of the other fields of study.
You're exactly right. A lot of times people forget that we do human resources, accounting, business, early childhood education, IT. I missed one, but we are locking into what our community needs, and I am often surprised, like our business students, the entrepreneur routes that they go. I'll go to a food truck and it's owned by a Bryant and Stratton graduate. The early childhood education, what a difference that's making in the community and so needed. So yes, there are quite a few degrees, and even in healthcare, outside of nursing, we have the medical assistant, we have the coding, we also have certificates. So you have your nurse aide, your phlebotomy, your EKG. Again, all very honed in on what does our community need.
So far I've met, I did receive the medical care from
we don't want to talk about
that. So I've encountered the accounting business, I've encountered now healthcare, business, and early childhood. And the more I go along, people are going to start talking to me. So you said 17 campuses.
16 in an online division.
But every one is different because it's determined by the market that you're in. Yes. You are doing things here that are important. Business leaders are coming to you saying, we need this, and Bryant and Stratton provides those services.
Yes, I love the fact that as a market director, I'm allowed the freedom, the flexibility, I'm encouraged to reach out to the community and say, what do you need? And we offer, in our library of curriculum, we've got a ton of other programs of study, but we're not going to offer things just because it sounds cool. We're going to look to our employers, we're going to look to our community and say, what is needed? And that's what we're going to offer.
Speed to degree.
Speed to degree. And again, just making sure that it is the right thing. It is one of the, when I joined Bryant and Stratton College, I was really struck by the statistics around young adults who have early failures, be it maybe they started a job or they started a program of study and were unsuccessful. That's a big
yes.
early on, right? And so the last thing I want to do is get somebody a degree that they can't get a job with, right? So I think it's really important that we marry all of that. What's your passion, but also what does the community need? And let's see if we can make it happen.
Bryant Stratton, they got that fancy new building there. How can people reach and find you, ma'am?
Well, you can visit our website, bryantstratton.edu. You can stop by and see us at 101 Gateway Center Parkway, Suite 210. Or you can call us, 804-745-2444. And we'd love to meet you.
as I say, just get to the campus.
That's right.
Because magic happens. Their graduation was amazing. Where were you in the semester? I forgot to ask you.
Oh my gosh, can you believe we're like halfway there? Like it is crazy, but it's a nice time of the semester. And of course, May's a little bit calmer. Once you get through graduation, the spring semester is a little bit calmer. But I was walking around the campus yesterday, and you can feel that things are settling down. And of course, we had the move on top of everything, but people are getting comfortable. We're feeling good. I'm watching our students walk around in their Bryant and Stratton t-shirts and their scrubs, and I can just see the confidence building. So it's a good time in the semester. I like this time.
There you go, Bryant and Stratton, the best out there through Chesterfield's institution of higher education. But it's not just Chesterfield, it is the whole area. You guys are pulling people from a long way. It says something when you have students coming from hours away to come to Bryant and Stratton.
I am humbled by the amount of students that we will come driving 2 hours. And again, we really do also try to work with students as far as how can we stack your classes or offer a remote class, make your clinical. We have clinical sites that are around the state, so making that a little bit easier. I'm not making any guarantees, but we want to try to work with our students because again, we want them to graduate and be successful.
There you go.
Superstar, it's time to play. Grab your furry buddy, let's go out today. With wagging tails and furry purrs, snakes and turtles and rabbits that twirl, sidekick adventures, just you and me, exploring the world, happy as can be. Sidekick adventures, let's have some fun with our best.
At Jenny King, we get it. You need a reliable cleaning partner you can trust. With Jenny King, you're partnering with local business owners backed by over 55 years of expertise. Call or visit jennyking.com today.
Well, greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Conversations That Matter with Lynn Lewis. I am your host, Lynn Lewis, and for those of you who have not met me before, I am a certified grief educator. I am the Chief Empathy Officer for Destined to Thrive Grief Coaching Services, as well as a published author, a speaker, and contributing writer to several media outlets. Today is the last episode, if you will, for Conversations with That Matter with Lynn Lewis. This is the last episode of this season. We will take a brief hiatus and we'll be back. And so I decided, since this is the end of our season, we would be interviewed. So first, I have my friend, my colleague, my fellow community advocate, Ms. Paula Harrison, with me, and we are going to be...
Hold on 1 second, sorry.
See. So Paula, would you briefly tell the people who you are? Just a brief introduction.
As Lynn mentioned, my name is Paula. I'm the owner of Social Flair Event Studio. Lynn and I have partnered in so many different capacities that leads to community outreach.
Thank you. And so as I was starting to say, for this particular episode, and as a way to say thank you to Mike King and the Call Federal Credit Union, just to say thank you, I've asked him to interview Paula and me. So the legend himself, Mr. Mike King, will be leading our questions, our interview today. Thank you, Mike, so much for this opportunity. It has certainly been a great opportunity to be a part of the crew, and I look forward to being back at some point.
Okay, so we can start now?
So we can start now.
So when I met you, what did I say that you said something to me that I'd never heard before?
What you said to me, and you continue to say, is that I taught you that that sorrow and joy can coexist as far as grief is concerned.
And I had never heard that. And I don't think most people think that they can. It can paralyze you. with grief and loss, you can't. So it's been great having you on the program to talk about that, because it can stop people in their tracks.
Yes.
And so now that's the personal sort of side. The business side of you still is also with this as well, because talking to people, you are a speaker,
right?
And you go talk to people about those things, because it's an important topic, but it's also when it's kind of on the touchy side.
It can be on the touchy side.
It can be on, because when people get in that grief space, and either they can't or don't want to get out of it, because there's sort of a comfort zone there. And so, Paula, we met you and we had events, and so we see your studio over there. You had some cool things with Lynn there too. Mm-hmm. But I just want to say, I don't know, maybe I might be biased. I'm just gonna say mine was pretty cool. All right, so we had a bunch of women there. So Paula, tell us what your studio can do. It can transform to be whatever a person needs it to be.
Absolutely, yes. So ordinarily, event studios are meant for the weddings, the birthdays, and baby showers and all the things. But how my event studio is different is we are a community hub. We focus on things that I recognize personally as outreach to reach certain individuals in our community.
So we always talk about dreams. We just talk about, but it was in a different context. It wasn't exactly this. So, sometimes when you're talking to people, sometimes those dreams are not good. They're not good. They're because there's something happened that caused grief. Paula, on the other hand, for you had a dream to make something happen, and you made it happen. How do you make dreams come true to tell a person?
Wow, I didn't see that question coming.
I got one good one per show, sorry. Lynn, we're done.
So how I make dreams come into reality is I try to have like a catchment of information available to people, so they can come in and they can live out maybe a business adventure that maybe it was never tapped into before. It could be through a pop-up shop. It could be through a speaking engagement. It could be through arts, where people are doing something that relates to painting, therapeutic painting. So it looks like a number of things, but my event space is a place where people can come through and they can live out a dream that they have in their mind.
There you go. And where's it located again?
It's at 10934 Hall Street, Midlothian, Virginia, in Chesterfield, Virginia.
There you go. Alrighty, Lynn. I got a message from your guy. He's having the event that's coming up in October.
Oh, Kenny Mitchell?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be there.
Okay, very good.
Very
good. I'll be there too. But I want to add, you asked Paula the question about making dreams come true for people. And though my dreams start out differently because grief is usually involved, but we have opportunities to see, and maybe transformation is a better word, because as you mentioned earlier, grief can be heavy. It can be something that people don't want to talk about. But what we try to do, and with some of the collaborations that Paul and I have had at Social Flair, is to see people transform. They come in one way, and just knowing that, oh, I can have this, this has happened, I can't change it, but I can still find joy in doing some of the things that I do. With the prom drive.
But that was big. The prom drive was really big.
Yes, I've had this happen. Maybe my parent or whomever is not here, but I can still, have nice things and go to the prom. So, we still help people with recognizing dreams and transformations as well.
One of the things, it's confusing, and this is to a grief educator. This whole thing about, and when you did the posting, you had a conversation about Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you survive Mother's Day? But then your husband was on talking about how do you survive Father's Day? You know, like what happens? Like how do you, all right, and so folks, so, you know, yes, so here's one, Mr. Keith Lewis is here. Oh, well, there's the cameras over here. You know, talking about the loss of fathers. So, you know what's part that was interesting, or not the loss of fathers, fathers who have experienced loss, whether it's kids or something. This whole thing with the colors when moms pass away, like what colors, like, you know, it's kind of confusing. Like if your mother's alive, you wear this color. If your mom passed away, and if your mom is this, you say all those things. So I'm just gonna put it out there that that's confusing, ma'am. And since that's the world that you operate in, maybe you can help folks because Father's Day is coming up, and I'm not gonna say dads don't. No, I'm gonna say it.
Dads don't have a color.
If dads don't have a color, because dad be like, you know, Father's Day is cool. It's not Mother's Day.
Right. Well, for the colors.
Okay, thank you.
That is, I noticed that in church. A lot of churches does that, and maybe otherwise as well. And to be quite honest with you, I don't recall. It's red and white. So one color is for if the mother's deceased, and the other color if they are still living. And so my church we don't do the color, so I honestly don't remember. Do you remember, Paula, which color?
I'm thinking white is for deceased.
Yeah, I'm thinking white is for deceased as well, but that's a good question. I'll know next time we come
You should. I mean, because your church, you got one of them churches, they give you like a church hometown hero or something like that. What were you?
I was the hero. Yeah. The hero of my church.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's in the name of your churches, but we can't let that.
Mount Calvary Church International in Providence, Forge, where Archbishop Raymond L. Otey Sr. is the pastor.
See, folks, that's how you do a church shout out. You know, that is the textbook of if you're a business or a person, you have a 30-second commercial, that is the church shout out. That's the example of how to do it. All right, Paula, what's coming up next for Social Flair?
So we're taking a little bit of a pause. We have so far done 4 different events for the community. We've done the Grief in the Black community. We've done book drive for our Read Across America month. We've done the foster care drive, and we've done the prom drive, which was very successful. Moving forward, we'll be doing the Suicide Awareness Month, which is in the month of September. That is something that Lynn and I will be collaborating on. She'll be the facilitator, and I will be the one in support of her.
Okay. And person, how can people reach you to rent your space? Because it is a business. I mean, you can't keep giving away to the community. You got some money got to change hands. People got to use the space. How can they find out information about it?
So I can be found on many platforms that relate to social media, on Facebook. I can be found on Instagram. My website page is socialflairevents.com.
Okay.
And as far as the event itself, will be on Eventbrite. It is the title, the theme is Suicide Loss. It's a family affair. It's going to be held on Saturday, September 19th, as she said, at Social Flair from 10 to 2 or 3 p.m. And yes, it is a paid event, and we encourage you to come if you are a survivor of suicide loss or if you support someone who is. And the thing that's going to set this apart from other just awareness programs is we are going to be looking at the postvention, how to support persons who have survived this tragedy. And so we'll have someone there talking about what happens to the brain when someone moves from suicidal ideation to having a plan to actually fulfilling that plan. What happens to them? And we'll have someone there who will be talking about the family dynamics and how it affects more than just that person.
So let me ask you, so when a person people start off and say, "Oh, my son passed away," and people, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Dude, when it becomes to the topic of suicide, sometimes it gets to be a hard, heavy subject. Talk to parents or people out there to help them through that awkward kind of, it's like people don't know how to, I don't even know how to say it, to helping them understand what and how to operate there.
So first of all, as you've alluded to, it can be a heavy, uncomfortable subject. And the first thing I'll say to across the board, it is not, it's not nice to ask people how someone passed away, period. If someone volunteers and say that what happened, it's okay. But if you don't know, don't let that be the first thing that pops out of your mouth. But for the survivor of suicide loss, if someone asks you what happened to your person and you don't want to say, you can simply say, "I don't want to talk about that," and be okay with, I don't want to talk about that right now. And the same can be for any type of death. If it was cancer, if it was chronic kidney failure, that's not something I want to talk about. As a survivor, you have rights. Exercise your rights.
So that is a period, not a comma.
A period, not a comma.
Period. It's kind of like it could be an exclamation point too.
It can be an exclamation
It's over.
point.
Yeah, we're not going down.
Yeah, and I've had a few people say, I don't have a problem now saying that my son died by suicide, but I have had a few people to say, "Well, how?
Really?"
And yes, and I said that's not something to talk about. But people do. We are curious. We want to know so we can go tell, so that we can have that information. So yeah, just do your best not to ask. If someone says it, then that's okay. But do your best not to ask.
It'll be like the Martin special, "Run, Tell That." Because, that's something right there. To ask something like that is just like unbelievable. Like you would ask, I don't want to know. Yeah. So we'd like to thank Lynn, the grief educator. I've been educated on the right wording. Paula is here as well. Paula, one last time, how can people get information about what you do?
Well, one, you can arrange a tour and come on through Social Flair. And the location is 10934 Hall Street. You can reach out to me on Instagram. You can reach out to me through Facebook or either my website. I do have some summer specials coming up. And so I want you to be aware that you can come through and arrange your next pop-up shop if you choose to do that, or your next speaking engagement. Just because I'm not hosting any particular event right now doesn't mean that you cannot host your own.
One of the things I want to say is we did have an event there, and I've seen the other events that they put on. It's a great place, and it can be transformed into what you want to do. But Paula, remember that? Oh, who was standing on the chair? Emmanuel, and you're like, "Would you please?" The lady's blood pressure's going up. He's like, "I gotta get this shot." No, sir. You were gonna get off of that chair. But that was...
I turned into Mama Bird.
Exactly. And you know what? You got about a half a second to get off that chair. We start tussling up in here.
You reinforced it, though. He's like, I think you better get
I think, yeah. Because, I'm looking at the age, and I'm like, I'm not going to say it, but, if you're 17, you fall, you probably be okay.
Right.
At your age, it would not be a good thing.
Yeah.
If you're my age, I know it's not a good thing.
But I'm just going to say, he was going for my glass chairs, my clear chairs.
Those are chairs that I'm scared to sit in anyway. I'm like, is this chair going to be good? But I tell you what, we had a great time there. The place looked phenomenal. Make sure you go ahead and check out Paula and Social Flair. Rent a space, you will be happy. Lynn, one last time for today, how can people, because I got something for you when we're done.
Okay.
You thought we were done with this conversation, when you hit me up, but I'm like, no, you don't know me. All right, so how can we reach you?
You can reach me on Instagram at Grief Coach Lynn. You can reach me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, actually, Lynn Lewis. And I am, where else am I? Oh, you can always email me. Email is still alive, but it is destined to thrive at outlook.com. And I also have a website, Destined to Thrive Grief Coaching at griefcoachingservices.com. Yes. So
you got your talking points down from your mentor. You were here to.
Yes.
I enjoy when you keep bringing people through here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be straight up stealing your friends. I'll be like, yeah, because I had to go that day. Ooh, Lord.
Yeah,
you brought the doctor Charlotte Mitchell up in here.
That was good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am from Philadelphia. Yes, we will take you with friends. We will. There's no shame to the game. What with Mike? Lynn, Paul, I'd like to thank you. All right, folks, thank you. Take care.
Phenomenal evening, everyone. I am Jawanda Smith with Let's Do It Right Events and the radio host of an award-winning Journey with Jay, where we teach you the best skills to build, brand, and boss your best life. And tonight, I am here at the Hippodrome in Richmond, Virginia. We are celebrating 100 men of color for the Virginia region. These men are doing all types of phenomenal things throughout the Virginia region, to include entrepreneurship, mentorship, business, education. At the end of the day, they are making impact in our community, and tonight we are going to celebrate them. So welcome and join us on the journey, and let's celebrate these 100 men and make sure stay connected so that you don't miss not one moment. Thank you.
My name is June Archer, creator of the 100 Men of Color Black Tie Kaelyn Awards, the 100 Women of Color Awards, and most recently the 100 Young Men of Color Awards. What it would look like if our young people saw men of color who looked like them in suits and tuxedos with a belt and pants around their waist. I like to look super fly, but there's a time and a place for everything. And I've come to find out that our young people are lost. They need us to show them the way, and we have to understand that we were once them. The real work begins after tonight. The accolades are here, the praise and honor is here, but when we leave these doors tonight, tell them how everybody was looking good, because y'all look good tonight. Tell them that you have a new vigor, you have a new enthusiasm. Touch as many as you can, inspire as many as you can. If it's just one today, cool, but if it's 10, so be it. Thank you to the Hippodrome for having us, and thank you to Miss Ready RVA.
Heard all of these incredible men that have walked across the stage. Why not you?
Thank you and congratulations, brothers. I don't have much to say. I'm the guy behind. I do everything behind the scenes. I'm glad to be here. I'm honored, and I hope to see you all again soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the class of 2026.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic. Mike King here, coming to you. No, I'm not coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Credit Union Media Center. No, I'm in the Bat Cave right now, in the Fortress of Solitude, along with my man Mark Bowen. He is in the Fortress of Solitude. We got two different ones. Yep. So no matter where I am, I get back to the Fortress of Solitude. Mark Bowen, the most interesting man in the world of Westchester Commons. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be on with you today.
On the same screen, though.
and in the dining room, and we got a on the move today.
A plethora There's a plethora of things going on. All right, sir, tell folks who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Mark Bowen. I manage Westchester Commons, a 600,000 square foot shopping center out in Midlothian off of 288 and Midlothian Turnpike. And yeah, it's a little bit of everything going on all the time. We've got a new gelato, authentic gelato place called Tifa Chocolate and Gelato. We're the first location in the state of Virginia. It is located on Main Street, right across from Sedona Tap House, and next door to Greater Than Sparrow Salon and Med Spa. They've got authentic gelato. They've got vegan and dairy-free sorbetto, which is for those that can't have dairy. So quite good, by the way. Tried that as well. Brownies, pastries, macarons, chocolate treats, espresso, coffee, beverages. Unbelievably good.
Sir, the place has the streets buzzing. The streets are talking about that place.
Yeah,
and people are like, hey, I'm kind of torn because, I'm going there, but I'm trying not to be the European Speedo, guy.
Hey, it just turned summer, so you got a little bit of time.
I got some time?
Yeah.
Or either I can do like they do and don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't worry about it. It is you have to enjoy life, and part of that is enjoying authentic gelato at Tifa Chocolate and Gelato.
The first in the state of Virginia, that's big. You guys have a wide array of eateries, fooderies, things going on over at Westchester Commons.
It's the highest concentration of food and eateries, and that includes like Starbucks and Sweet Frog and Tifa, and then a wide array of restaurants from Napa Kitchen and Sedona to Latitude to Buffalo Wild Wings to Centro. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on. So it's the highest concentration of food in the Richmond metro. So we're very proud to attract people throughout our food and through their stomachs.
Alrighty, so non-food related, what was the latest store that opened?
It was probably Adore Nails at the end of last year. And of course, we're working on things all the time. Spirit Halloween will be back with us actually next month.
Really?
Next month. They'll be with us starting in July.
Are they back in Michael's?
Joanne. FKA Joanne.
I didn't want to get, I got the one names confused. So it's Joanne's back there again?
Yes, probably for one final time. Yeah, it is. And it'll be one of the largest, if not the largest, in Richmond too. But that will be happening. Our townhomes have gone vertical. The next phase of townhomes right next to Napa Kitchen and Wine. The one building is already on its third out of 4 floors. So they're just boom, boom, boom. In fact, 5 of the next 42 townhomes have already been sold, and they haven't even been finished. So it's about 70 townhomes that have been sold at Westchester Commons by Stylecraft.
How can people get information out about Westchester Commons, sir?
You can always go to our website at shopwestchestercommons.com and follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and you'll find all of everything we have going on at Westchester Commons.
Mike K. Mark Bowen here. It says something when you have 42, 5 are sold already. It just says that people want to come and be a part of the Westchester Commons lifestyle.
It is kind of, if you work there, you live there, you can play there, you can eat there, you never have to leave.
I know.
And so it is a concept that is growing in the larger cities. And of course, now you can step out your front door and go to your favorite restaurant, go to Target, go to get some shoes, some boots. It's a little bit of everything that you need.
People talk about sometimes about how crowded and congested it is for the folks who don't live there who are just coming there. It speaks to how popular Westchester Commons. There's something there for everyone.
It truly is, and it's a great testament to our customers that we continuously have new business coming in. We give them new activity to do, whether it's an event or something like the Shopper's Perks card that creates loyalty to our participating merchants, and it really does say that we're quite popular. If people have trouble getting around, I don't think it's the fault of the shopping center. It might be the fault of the drivers. And just, I would say, just take your time. I mean, that's the biggest thing. It's not a rush. The buildings aren't going anywhere, and chances are you'll get what you're looking for when you come to Westchester Commons.
All righty, Mark Bowen, a lot of things you guys do. We're always talking about the music series.
Yep.
So where are we at now, sir?
We are at show number 3, and it happens tomorrow actually today. Since it airs today, June 25th. It is the Soul Expressions Band, playing a little bit of everything, dance, funk, R&B. You better put your dancing shoes on for this one because they're gonna bring it. It benefits our friends at CFIT Community, and it's going to be a great time. It's from 5:30 until 8:30 on Main Street. The weather seems to be looking really good. In addition to the weather, that what nobody ever says is that we always have that sweet Virginia breeze blowing through the trees and right down the middle of Main Street.
So that is, ladies and gentlemen, he is contractually obligated to drop that in. One on the street is that you are going to be shaking your groove thing for this band.
I stay behind the scenes. I run the show and let the people out front have fun. But it is benefiting a charity each week, and we do these until October the 1st. I will say something new that we're doing for the July 9th show, which is the next one up. It is a band celebrating 30 years of playing nothing but 80s music. It's the Reagan years out of Washington, D.C. It benefits the Fatherhood Foundation of Virginia, which is always a lively bunch that come in.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do, since it's 80s music and this is the 30th anniversary of the Reagan years, is if you dress up in your favorite 80s gear or get up, we're going to have a contest for the best 80s costumes. And you will win prizes. The top 3 or 4 will win prizes. So start thinking about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Bowen, Chris Beach, they are, they're P.T. Barnum's wayward sons.
Yes, that we are.
Yes. And you would pick that band and that group to pull it off. I'm just concerned what I will see that. Are you coming in regalia?
Well, I have just a very subtle 80s outfit, and we'll see that. I won't be entering the contest, but I might be helping judge the contest with the band. The band doesn't know this, but I'm sure they've done it before.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Bowen, you're like the guy with the hot dog eating contest.
Joey Chestnut. Yeah.
The guy better than him is the announcer. Everybody loves Joey Chestnut. You are the announcer with the straw hat.
Yes. Yeah. The little hat from Coney Island.
That's it. So CFIT is what we're working with today. They help people's lives have better lives in Chesterfield County. That's really important. You support them. I support them. Talk about why Westchester Commons really supports organizations like that.
Well, it's important for us to show our customers that we support those organizations doing good in the community. And hopefully it becomes very much of a cycle where we don't go after and don't recruit and don't have the larger nonprofits in participation. But we look for those that need not only the financial assistance, but or the funding, and then those that need to tell their story. And this allows them, if they can stay with us for up to 5 years. And I believe this is CFIT Community's third or fourth year. And so they've been able to recruit new people, new volunteers, new donors, new friends, and that's why we call it a friend raiser as well as a fundraiser. So we always welcome new nonprofits in the area that serve the greater Chesterfield, Powhatan, Goochland area.
That's true. All right, our good friends are coming back. We're all helping them. It is the Free Clinic of Powhatan. They called me the other day. They're coming back to they have something going on out there. Maybe it's a rain.
Yep, they have a run that's getting ready to come online, I believe, in September, and it's right around the time that their concert, which they are the last one this year, on October the 1st with Elevation. Okay. So they are benefiting from the concert series as well once again.
It's always great, people, like you say, people become friends, and all of a sudden you see them, and then all of a sudden we think back to last year. You helped them, we helped them get exposure, and then they just helped the community on a very big scale. So shout out to all the folks out there making magic happen. Mark Bowen is here with us. Sir, what else you got going on over there at Westchester?
Well, it's always something going on, and whether it's a large potato, or whether it's a large new business going in, and I will say that there is always projects going on. So behind the scenes to make things happen. And I tell people all the time, what you see now may not be there in the next 3 years, but there will be something dynamic and more exciting that will be coming in to replace it. Never know.
So, Halloween is on its way and it's showing up at Westchester Commons.
Yes, exactly. It's coming in next month, Spirit Halloween, in the former Joanne right next to Marshall's, right on Perimeter Drive.
There you go. Main Street, the place to be, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you get out tonight to go see the band. And then, get there early. You don't have to get there that early, but the party is on Main Street. Mark Bowen has you dancing in the street like Mark and her friends.
Yep, and I do have to say that it's presented by The Edge at Westchester by Stylecraft and supported by Brown Distributing, James River Cellars, Mix 98.1, and Brickhouse Diner.
Because we say we love the sponsors.
They help us get through it.
That's what we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Bowen is here, Mike King. Thank you, sir. Talk to you. Folks, get out there and support Westchester. Thanks, now. Take care.
Thanks.
This is the night that 10 years, 15, 20 years, you're going to be looking back and saying, I was here. There's an inflection point happening in technology. We get to lead it, and we get to lead it right here in Richmond.
We must prepare existing workers, students, and communities to be able to use AI so that no one is left behind.
The real story isn't AI itself. The real story is what AI makes possible. AI is the new keyboard. It's the new mouse. It's not the answer, it's the instrument. And the more people we hand that instrument to, the more possibilities we turn into realities.
People want to be together when you're making a difference. How can we make Richmond, make the region, and in part, all of Virginia, the most AI ready? A lot of people ask me, do we just want to be the Silicon Valley of the East Coast? The quote everybody keeps on having me re-ask is no. My mission is for Silicon Valley to be the Richmond of the West Coast.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA business media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better.
many that are built like me. I'm the last of my kind. Grew up on the back road, baby. I know how to survive. Being out with the young guns blazing, so you better not try. You'll never find another like me. I'm the last of my kind. Yeah, yeah, yeah.